Okay, I'm starting this video narration a bit late. I've already got my part nestled in the bed of rolled out clay. I softened it up, put it between two pieces of wood on a plate of glass, rolled it out, then I pressed in my part, and I'll pull the part up and kind of go over it. Okay, so I'm going to be making some of these, I think they're intake manifold spacers for, I believe, a Datsun. The gentleman, next door neighbor, asked me if I could do this for him, so I thought I'd give him a try. It's got one little spot there that is going to, if I can get that into focus, that might be an issue. So I'm going to try to repair that as best I can. Anyways, I'm going to use a two-part mold in this process. First thing I did is I laid down a piece of glass, set these spacer blocks up. What I want to do is I want to achieve about a half of the depth of this part that I'm going to pour at one time, and then pour the second part, and I'm going to orient it vertically so that the air flows up and out when I vacuum it. So this is a two-part mold, and I'm getting ready to set the mold, which is this guy here, the ring. So first thing I'm going to do is press the part down in, get the impression, remove these parts with my X-Acto blade, and I know you know what an X-Acto blade looks like, so I'm going to do that next. Okay, you never can have too much light, so I've got my little light here, and what I'm doing now is I'm pressing the clay up against the model. Everywhere you have any kind of a gap between the model and the clay, you're going to get what's called a flash, where the mold material is going to go down in. So I'm just working my way around with this, making sure that that clay is right up against the model so that I don't get any flash. Okay, so now I'm going to set my outer casing around this, score it, and relieve the excess clay so it sits down tight, and I'll put some backing. I'm going to keep it on the glass plate. I'm just going to do some rearranging here. By no means is this going to be an exhaustive expose on molding. I'm new at it myself. I'm just passing along the information that I've gleaned along the way. So just talk about tools for a second. I got this spatula here. It's for loosening 3D prints. Just a roller pin that I fashioned out of a dowel. This picker, I think I got this at Harbor Freight. And here's a, what is it? For my milling machine, an end mill, and it just has this little tamper, and I'm going to use it to get down inside of this hole. I'll just kind of use it to tamp things down. So there's no absolute way of doing things. You just pick up different tools and give them a try and see if they meet the objective. And sometimes the best tool is to be able to see what you're doing. Okay, cut around it, and I'm pulling the sides back a little bit so I can set my ring down and then press that back in place. Okay, set my ring on. Now I'm just going to go around and work this in. I just about forgot the funnel, so I've made that out of clay, and that is where the plastic, when I get ready to pour this in the future, it'll go down into the two parts. Just a quick pan around. I'm here in the space lab, and we'll get to that next, which is the vacuum chamber. So we're going to use that to degas our plastic when we mix it. First thing I'm doing is leveling up my build plate, or my pour plate. So I've got a little torpedo level, about to set the glass on and get going. Okay, we've got the model and the mold in place, tucked away really nicely. So now I'm going to spray it down with mold release, and after I spray it down, I'm going to work, let me get my hands onto this, the brush, and I'm just going to work the mold release into all the nooks and crannies and make sure that I haven't missed anything. It is vital, I emphasize vital, that the mold release is applied throughout the mold and the jacket, this exterior, so that you have a good release once you get done and we're ready to pull the other side. I was just talking about I want to talk about the rubber that I'm using, the silicone rubber. Part A, part B, I always keep part A on the left, part B on the right. That's just who I am. You can see even as I store it, A on the right, or pardon me, A on the left, B on the right. Stir sticks on hand, I've got 2 cups, 1A, 1B, that they will come together in cup number 1. They will be stirred in that cup, and you always use a second cup. That way you're making sure that everything on the sidewall has been properly mixed. If it all goes in here, then it's going to be all mixed. And from there, we'll take it over to the vacuum, and we'll pull a vacuum. This gets the air bubbles out and makes for a better mold. And I mopped around with a brush, got that taken care of. And one I didn't mention before, you also want to just make sure that you don't have a big heavy buildup in any place, any wells of the release agent that's going to distort your model. So let's get started. Okay, in went part B, about to dump in part A. Always wear your gloves, host of reasons why to do that. Anyways, gonna get ready to mix that up. Yeah, I'm that guy that's gonna let the shampoo bottle sit beside the shower for a few days and drain to the bottom. So I got everything out of that beaker into this, and I'm gonna stir this up, and then we're gonna vacuum it. One of the friends of the makerspace has some young girls, and when I did some casting for them, they said that this machine sounds like a turkey. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I don't know if it does or not, but it was fun. Anyways, we're vacuuming down. We're getting, closing in on 20 inches of mercury. Nothing will start happening until we get to about 25 or 27. And then you're going to start seeing the bubbles. And they're starting to already appear. That's what you want. Pull the mercury down. I don't pull a full 29, but I get really close to it. And it does get rid of a lot of the bubbles. There they are. Bubble, bubble, bubble. And we're just about done. The bubbles have quieted down. And the minute I pull that off, the bubbles will disappear. All right, the last part of the process is to make the pour. So I usually start at one end, and I just let the ribbon roll around the edge because I don't want to gather moisture by having the pour overlap itself. So I think we're going to be pretty good on our volume. Now I'm going to just start laying in a ribbon across the top and just let it flood the model. I don't go over the run line, if you gather what I'm saying, because I want to let the wave push out the air. And there we go. And yeah, I think we're going to be really good here on our volume. I think we have a little bit left over, but in the bigger scheme of things, I think we're pretty well there. Okay, we'll pull it apart tomorrow and have a look. Cured really well. I've just peeled it off the plate, and now I'm going to take the clay out.
You're on.
So it came out really nice. The release agent worked well. You'll see as I'm peeling back, the representation of the part is really evident on this side and the reverse side. And the reason that I'm using this 2-part mold is because there are details on both sides of this part that I needed to capture. And there's my spew, or the filler that I'm going to use on the other side. So now I'm going to leave this in there. I'm not going to remove that from the mold, and I'm just going to pour the top layer on next. The other mold is going to be vertical, so that you'll fill it from the top. That way the air rises, and yeah, it won't have any air bubbles.
Okay.
Here's the challenge on this piece, is there is meant to be a little shoulder right here. So what I've done is I've created, well, as you can see, this is version number 6, that I've tried to create something that is really close to this countersink that I can put in, and it would give me a shoulder to force some modeling clay in, and hopefully I can create that very, very thin ridge and rotate this and get that out. That would give me the, let me just say, impression that I would need for the model to be effective. So anyways, that's the plan. Remove the piece. Well, I've been at this a while, and I think that's as good as I'm going to get that capture of the ridge that runs between the two circumferences. So yeah, we'll see how it casts. I wasn't happy, so I took another go at it, and I think I'm in pretty good shape. Well, start magnifying, it's not as good, but I think it'll, yeah, I think it's, any more I think I mess with it is gonna get worse. Okay, final version. I'm happy with it. I think when you look at the other imperfections in the piece, I think this is gonna, that's what it's supposed to look like there. And I think I've achieved most of that there. So you get the nice shoulder on the back side. So, yep, I think it'll work. Okay, so enough with the micro surgery here. This ultimately is going to be the orientation. So that, yeah, when we get ready, we pour the resin down the funnel. Get out of the way. I'm in the middle of my shot. John Ford. So yeah, that's going to be how it orients it. We're going to, of course, fill this up. Right now, I'm making a clay plug for this hole and to finish the funnel up here. I mentioned the word sprue the other day, and that's if you had air vents on the side, which is not the case. So this is just a funnel. So onward and upward. Okay, I've got the funnel made, and I think it's ready to pour. I'll spray it with releasing agent and get started. Okay, same process as before. A and B went in, 1 cup, then transferred to the 2nd cup, getting ready to vacuum it down. I have sprayed down the model really well. I didn't do the brush this time, only because I see that guy as being potentially vulnerable, so I'm gonna leave well enough alone. Anyways, getting ready to degas and then pour. So at the last minute, I thought I'd throw a little color to it, so we're gonna give this a try. That'll give us some contrast in the pour, and we're waiting on 29 to come up. Get rid of those bubbles. Okay, here we go. Start pouring. I did take a minute and investigated the inside ring, and as it turned out, glad I did, because there was some clay flashing left there. So that, here we go, up over, that's the important piece. Fall in there, fill in the air. Great. I think our volume is about right, and this should be a nice pour. Good to the last drop. And we should be able to cast in the morning. See you then. Side to molded, actually last night, it was a two-handed process, so I wasn't able to capture the process, actual process on video. Anyways, part came out really well. The piece that I was able to fix, I think it did fix successfully. So right there, I'm about to remove that clay, and that will be a success, I'm hoping. And I will capture the moment. Yes, we have success. See how that little bit of clay got in there and created that little valley between. Okay, I think we got it. So you see that we got the separation between the two. The same side, not quite as crisp, but considering what we had to work with, I think we did a very good job. So all set to begin the casting process, and I'll go over that in just a second. This is the, just wanted to kind of cover a little bit of the legacy here. We started, or I started first with this mold and used the same shell, and I put the feet on it, or the stand, so that it could stand vertically. And I just thought I would mention this. I went through a process of finding the size, and not only the size, but that little bit of a rounded nature, so you see that in the mold here. You can see how it has this, like a, not really a convex chamfer. Anyways, it took me 6 attempts to get it, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about my success because you never know when there's the next failure. So happy casting. Okay, this is what we've been waiting for. I'm getting ready for the pour. I have sprayed down with mold release the cavity and getting ready to brush it in with my brush and make sure that I've got everything evenly coated. There's no gullies or pockets that I've got standing mold release. Okay, getting ready to make this happen. Made these back pieces so that I can utilize rubber bands and strapping it all together and making sure things hold together. Okay, we got the resin over at degassing. Just wanted to show you the mold. It's all trussed up and ready to go, both sides in. Let's start pouring. Well, there it is, all poured in. I'm not really happy with what I'm looking at, some bubbling in the top. So it might be the resin. I'm going to look at maybe another option, but we'll see you in the morning. Let's let this cure overnight. Okay, just pulled it apart and turned out pretty nice. I don't see any real imperfections. I've got to clean it up a little bit, but no air bubbles. Yeah, of course, knock off the funnel and clean up the flash. Should be pretty good. I've got some new material come this morning that should make it a little bit nicer. This was just what I had in stock. This is what's called flash. That's between the two parts of the mold where a little bit of the product comes out, and it's easy to fix and clean. So I'm going to do that now with my Dremel tools. I'm on number 3 on the pours. I just cleaned the mold with some soapy water, blew it off with the air compressor, reapplied my release agent, and going for pour number 3. Okay, this is one just out of the mold. You see the flash there, the funnel up on top, and I'm going to clean it up. This one turned out really nice. Just to give you an idea of how sensitive your mold is, you see I'm giving just a little bit of squeeze, and you can see the cavitation of the fluid. So yeah, your molds definitely need to be properly supported. Not compressed or not let loose, but held the way that they were originally cast. Okay, that's 3 out of 4 done. The last one is in the mold right now, getting ready to come out. Just wanted to wrap up this project with a show of how they turned out, which I think they're going to be really suited for the application.